You're listening to Full Circle Weekly News. These articles are compiled by Eric the Unready, and I'm your host, Moss Bliss. This is episode 364, covering week 17, April 22nd to 28th, 2024. The Lunatic project is developing tools that allow you to use the Lua language to extend the functionality of the Linux kernel and quickly write handler scripts that run at kernel level. A Lua interpreter is used to execute the code modified to work at the kernel level. The project code is written in C and is distributed under the MIT license. Among the capabilities of the command line utility are commands for loading, unloading, and reloading Lunatic modules in the kernel, displaying the status of loaded modules, viewing a list of scripts running in the kernel, running scripts, creating and stopping Lua runtime environments in the kernel, using the interactive shell REPL, read eval print loop. The project also provides a set of examples to evaluate the capabilities of Lunatic. EdgeDB 5.0 is available, which implements the relational graph data model and the EdgeQL query language, optimized for complex hierarchical data. The project is developed in the form of an add-on for PostgreSQL. It is written in Python and Rust, parser and performance-critical parts, and is distributed on the Apache 2.0 license. Client libraries are prepared for Python, Go, Rust, .NET, Elixir, and TypeScript/JavaScript. It also provides command line tools for DBMS management and interactive query execution, REPL. Audacity 3.5 has been published, providing tools for editing sound files, recording and digitizing sound, changing sound file parameters, overlaying tracks, and applying effects such as noise reduction. Audacity 3.5 is the fifth major release since the project was taken over by Muse Group. The Audacity code is licensed under GPL v3 with binary builds available for Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. NetBSD 9.4 has been published, which completed the maintenance cycle of the previous major branch 9.x. NetBSD 9.4 is categorized as a maintenance update and primarily includes fixes for issues and vulnerabilities identified since NetBSD 9.3 was published in August 2022. For those who value new functionality, a major release was recently released, NetBSD 10.0. Installation images have been prepared for download, available in builds for 57 system architectures and 16 different CPU families. In addition to bug fixes in NetBSD 9.4, some new features, mostly related to hardware support, have been moved from NetBSD 10 branch. For example, support has been added for new Mega RAID controllers, Ethernet cards on the RTL8168GU chip, and 3G modems ZTE MF112 and D-Link DWM222. Support for new AMD and Intel CPUs has been expanded, and they added support for RAM disks and ZFS and CGD, and improved compatibility with QEMU assemblies for AArch64. Nmap 7.95 has been released, designed to conduct a network audit and identify active network services. The project code is supplied under the Nmap public source license based on the GPL v2 license, which is supplemented with recommendations for using the OEM licensing program and purchasing a commercial license if the manufacturer does not want to open the code of his product in accordance with the requirements of the copyleft license or intends to integrate Nmap into products that are not GPL compliant. The terms of the NPSL license apply only to parties who accept the license in exchange for receiving special rights, such as the right to redistribute Nmap. In this case, the participating party can do whatever it wants under copyright provisions such as fair use, and the Nmap developers will not try to control their work. Fedora 40 Workstation, Fedora Server, Fedora CoreOS, Fedora Cloud-Based, Fedora IoT Edition, and Live builds are available for download, delivered as spins with desktop environments such as KDE Plasma, XFCE, Mate, Cinnamon, LXDE, Phosh, LXQT, Budgie, and Sway. Builds are generated for x86-64, Power64, and ARM64 AArch64 architectures. The publication of Fedora Silverblue build is delayed. Nginx 1.26.0 has been published, which incorporates the changes accumulated in the main branch 1.25.x. In the future, all changes in the stable branch 1.26 will be related to the elimination of serious errors and vulnerabilities. For ordinary users who do not have the task of ensuring compatibility with third-party modules, they recommend you use the main branch, where releases of the commercial project Nginx Plus are formed every 3 months. IX Systems has published the TrueNAS Scale 24.04 distribution, which uses the Linux kernel and Debian. Like TrueNAS Core, FreeNAS, TrueNAS Scale is free to download and use. The source code of TrueNAS Scale's specific build scripts, web interface, and layers are published on GitHub. TrueNAS Scale Edition is now the main edition, and the FreeBSD-based TrueNAS Core branch has been placed in maintenance mode, where they plan to fix bugs and security issues for many years to come. New features and versions of components will be developed only in the TrueNAS Scale branch. QEMU 9.0 has been released, which allows you to run a program compiled for one hardware platform on a system with a completely different architecture. In virtualization mode, the performance of code execution in an isolated environment is close to the hardware system due to the direct execution of instructions on the CPU and the use of the Xen hypervisor or the KVM module in Linux or the NVMM module in NetBSD. The project was created by Fabrice Bellard to provide the ability to run Linux executables compiled for the x86 platform on non-x86 architectures. Over the years of development, support for full emulation was added for 14 hardware architectures with over 400 emulated hardware devices. Pale Moon 33.1.0 is out, branched from Firefox to provide higher performance, preserve the classic interface, minimize memory consumption, and provide additional customization options. Pale Moon builds are created for Windows and Linux x86-64. The project code is distributed under the MPLv2 Mozilla Public License. The project adheres to the classic interface layout without switching to the Australis and Photon interfaces integrated into Firefox 29 and 57, and with extensive customization options. The removed components include DRM, Social API, WebRTC, PDF Viewer, Crash Reporter, code for collecting statistics, tools for parental controls, and people with disabilities. Support for extensions using Xool has been returned to the browser, and the ability to use both full-fledged and lightweight themes has been retained. Proxmox Virtual Environment 8.2 has been published, a specialized Linux distribution based on Debian GNU/Linux, aimed at deploying and maintaining virtual servers using LXC and KVM, and capable of acting as a replacement for products such as VMware vSphere, Microsoft Hyper-V, and Citrix Hypervisor. Proxmox VE provides the means to develop a turnkey web-based industrial-grade virtual server system designed to manage hundreds or even thousands of virtual machines. The distribution has built-in tools for organizing backups of virtual environments and clustering support available out of the box, including the ability to migrate virtual environments from one node to another without stopping work. Features of the web interface include support for a secure VNC console, control access to all available objects, VM storage nodes, etc. based on roles, and support for various authentication mechanisms. Nextcloud Hub 8 is available for download, providing a solution for collaboration between enterprise employees and teams developing various projects. At the same time, Nextcloud 29, which underlies Nextcloud Hub, was published, allowing the deployment of cloud storage with support for synchronization and data exchange, providing the ability to view and edit data from any device anywhere on the network using a web interface or WebDAV. The Nextcloud server can be deployed on any hosting that supports the execution of PHP scripts and provides access to SQLite, MariaDB/MySQL, or PostgreSQL. Nextcloud source code is distributed under the AGPL license. Nextcloud Hub resembles Google Docs and Microsoft 365, but allows you to deploy a fully controlled collaboration infrastructure that operates on your own servers and is not tied to external cloud services. Nextcloud Hub combines several open add-on applications on the Nextcloud cloud platform onto a single environment, allowing you to collaborate with Office documents, files, and information to plan tasks and events. The platform also includes add-ons for accessing email, messaging, video conferencing, and chats. Ubuntu 24.04 Noble Numbat is out, which is classified as a long-term support release. Updates will be generated for 12 years, 5 years publicly available, plus another 7 years for users of the Ubuntu Pro service. Installation images are created for Ubuntu Desktop, Ubuntu Server, Lubuntu, Kubuntu, Ubuntu Mate, Ubuntu Baji, Ubuntu Studio, Xubuntu, Ubuntu Chillin, Ubuntu Unity, Edubuntu, and Ubuntu Cinnamon. OSMC 2024.04-1, designed for creating a media center based on Raspberry Pi single-board computers or Vero set-top boxes developed by the distribution's developers, is out. The distribution is equipped with the Kodi Media Center and offers out of the box a complete set of tools for creating a home theater that supports video display in 4K, 2K, and HD quality. 2 images are available for download, for direct recording to a USB drive or SD card, as well as specialized installers for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, allowing a novice user to install the distribution. Ready-made builds are created for Raspberry Pi 2, 3, 3+, 0W2, 4, and 400 boards, as well as for Vero 4K, 4K+, and V set-top boxes. The distribution is based on Debian and supports installing packages from standard repositories. No knowledge of Linux is required. All configuration operations are performed through a graphical interface. The Raspberry Pi-based media center is proposed to be connected to the TV via the HDMI port and powered via the USB port available on some TVs. Video playback uses hardware video decoding provided by the Broadcom VideoCore graphics accelerator. Sculpt 24.04 was announced, developing an operating system based on Gnode OS framework technologies, which can be used by ordinary users to perform everyday tasks. The source code of the project is distributed under the AGPL v3 license. A live USB image is offered for download. It supports operation on systems with Intel processors and graphics with VT-D and VT-X extensions enabled, as well as on ARM systems with VMM extensions. The Min 1.32 browser has been published. It offers a minimalistic interface built around manipulation of the address bar. The browser is an Electron app. The Min interface is written in JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. The code is distributed under the Apache 2.0 license. Builds are created for Linux, macOS, and Windows. The central control in Min is the address bar, through which you can send queries to a search engine, DuckDuckGo by default, and search the current page. As you type in the address bar, a summary of relevant information for current requests is generated, such as a link to a Wikipedia article, a selection from bookmarks and browsing history, as well as recommendations from the DuckDuckGo search engine. Each page opened in the browser is indexed and becomes available for subsequent search in the address bar. In the address bar, you can also enter commands to quickly perform operations. The Ncurses 6.5 library has been released. It is designed for creating multi-platform interactive console user interfaces and supporting emulation of the Curses programming interface from System 5 Release 4.0. The Ncurses 6.5 release is source compatible with the Ncurses 5.x and 6.0 branches, but extends the ABI. Popular applications built using Ncurses include Aptitude, Lynx, Mutt, NCFTP, Vim, VIFM, Minicom, Mosh, Screen, Tmux, Emacs, and less. EndeavourOS 24.04 is presented. EndeavourOS allows the user to easily install Arch Linux with the required desktop as intended by the desktop's original developers without additional pre-installed programs. The distribution offers a simple installer for installing a basic Arch Linux environment with the default KDE desktop and the ability to install from the repository one of the standard desktops based on Mate, LXQT, Cinnamon, XFCE, GNOME, Budgie, as well as i3, BSPWM, and Sway Mosaic window managers. Work is underway to add support for Qtile and OpenBox window managers, UKUI, LXDE, and Deepin desktops. One of the project developers is developing its own window manager named Worm. You've been listening to Full Circle Weekly News. For more details, see the next issue of the magazine at fullcirclemagazine.org or check the links in the show notes. You can contact me at bardmoss@pm.me. I'll see you next week.